Here's a little interesting thing because very often we have stories and rumors going on about what's happening with iPhone production. And as you likely know, Apple rarely comments on that. Well, Apple has made an unusual public statement this week with regards to the iPhone 14 Pro and iPhone 14 Pro Max shipments. And basically, they are going to be lower in the coming months. The issue is the temporary COVID-19 restrictions that are happening in China. You may have heard about that on the news, and it is impacting the main Foxconn factory where iPhone assembly is done in China. In a statement, Apple said that they are, quote, prioritizing the health and safety of workers in their supply chain, and thus they're going to experience, quote, significantly reduced capacity for iPhone 14 Pro and iPhone 14 Pro Max shipments. They're warning customers that they will experience longer wait times to receive their products. So just something to be aware of. Recent reports claimed that capacity at the facility was reduced by as much as 30%. So obviously that's having an impact, enough of an impact for Apple to come out and make this statement. And right now, delivery times on iPhone 14 Pro models seem to be hovering around 3 to 4 weeks. I can assume that we can expect that to get even longer in the coming weeks and months. So definitely, if you're planning Apple devices as gifts this holiday season, I would say you're going to want to get your orders in sooner than later. So if any year is a year to plan for your holiday sales, or holiday gifts, I would say this year for sure. And just across the board because it's been a weird year, as you know, with the supply chain. So just be aware of that. And, Apple has been looking to get ahead of this, with these regional delays based on what's happening in certain places. They've been expanding manufacturing to other regions like Brazil. I think we've heard about Vietnam and Taiwan and now India. And unfortunately, it's probably not happening soon enough, but Apple is trying to do that. Recently, Apple and Foxconn had spun up new iPhone manufacturing in India. And then this past week, there were reports from Bloomberg that Apple supplier Pegatron is also going to ramp up iPhone 14 production in India as well. They'd already been producing, I think, iPhone 12 models there. Sounds like Apple's going to shift production over to iPhone 14, probably to kind of help out with the situation that's going on in China. And reportedly, Apple's hope is to shift about 25% of its iPhone production to India by 2025, and they have a longer goal, according to Ming-Chi Kuo, of getting India production up to 40 to 45%. So Apple, again, continuing to reduce their reliance on China. Unfortunately, a lot of the parts are still coming out of China, so they're still going to be impacted by that. This is a lot of just assembly moving out. I would imagine Apple also has longer-term plans to kind of move some of its parts manufacturing outside of China, and again, to try to better diversify the supply chain to get around any kind of these regional impacts that happen. So we'll have to see what happens going forward, but Apple definitely trying to ramp up manufacturing outside of China.